Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode with me, Living Free Ashley, and
Ellie from Tea Cycle Depot.
Tell me about Tea Cycle Depot.
Okie dokie. It's an Etsy shop that I started back in 2009. And the sole purpose then was to make pillows out of old vintage t-shirts that were sort of worn out. Mm-hmm. And then through that collection of old textiles and realizing there was so much more potential. And I sort of shifted about 2 years ago into solely making products that would also help eliminate plastic use from your life. So produce bags, makeup remover pads that are reusable and washable, and family cloth and cutlery roll-ups to take with you. So it's eliminating textile waste and turning it into something else that also helps you eliminate plastic.
Perfect. I love it.
Most of those products are on Etsy. I'm not as good as updating that shop as I should be. I focus a lot of my orders on providing stock to the Soap Dispensary, which we've talked about, and Nada.
And social media wise, you're on Instagram.
I am. I'm on Instagram at teacycledepot, not .com. Just at Teacycle. Currently doing March Meet the Maker. So if you want to go back basically to March 1st, there's 30 posts all about like me and what I do and different materials, and
it's very cool. You get to know Ellie and her philosophy and her company on a whole new level, and it's more personal, and it's a lot of fun to learn.
It is more personal, and that was a bit of a leap for me. I'm not super outgoing, so it was like, okay, this is like a true challenge. It's like I'm going to put myself out there and we're going to see what the response is, and it's been really great. I get a lot of awesome comments, and I can talk to my commenters and help them answer questions too. So
good for you.
It's been awesome.
So our very first video that we put out, which was episode 62, just over a month ago, we were talking about tips to implement in your kitchen for zero waste living. And one of the things we talked about was compost stock.
So we talked about sort of giving you guys a heads up to start freezing some of those veggie scraps that would normally just go straight to the compost bin, which is also fine. But you can increase sort of the life of them a little longer if you are saving your onion skins and carrot ends and freezing them, and then make them into vegetable stock later.
So for those of you that had watched that video and started saving everything, you should by now have a nice big bag, a nice big Tupperware container in your freezer full. So what we're going to do is basically show you what to do with that and make some compost stock. And when it comes to the zero waste aspect of it, and also a frugal side of things, you're using the vegetable scraps in order to make this stock. So you're taking your vegetables even further and saving your money instead of going out and buying veggie stock. And then you're also doing it in a package-free, zero-waste way.
Absolutely.
Because you don't have to worry about the containers and recycling the containers and all that.
There's no Tetra Paks involved, and how that's all needs to be recycled. And you can also season it to your liking, and you can salt it to your liking. So sometimes store-bought stock can be very high in sodium. So this is sort of a really healthy alternative.
And I find that store-bought stock can also be bland. Right? So
it's watered down.
It's in your power to use the veggies that you like and to manipulate the flavor and to go as strong or weak as you like. And,
absolutely. And even if you have stock concentrate, like I like to make it a little bit more flavorful, because typically I will freeze it into an ice cube tray. And then when you're doing, frying veggies and you need just a little bit of liquid, you pop in an ice cube, you're good to go.
Good to go, It's a very, very simple process, and we're going to go through it step by step to make this compost stock. But first we'll start by talking about and listing the actual veggies that you can put in this bag in the freezer. So for me, in my bag, I have onion skins, onion tops and bottoms, carrot skins, carrot tops and bottoms, the stems from kale. I had some rosemary the other day, so I put the stems, the sprig in there. Red pepper stems and even seeds. I just put all of that in there. What else do you put in?
Mushroom bottoms. Sometimes if I cut the stems, if you're doing like a stuffed mushroom, you have the stems. Celery. Like if I buy bunch celery, I immediately just cut off the very bottom and make sure there's no dirt on it, and then freeze that.
No dirt, no mold.
No dirt, no mold. You don't want any rot in there. That's not going to be tasty.
Broccoli stems.
Broccoli stems, cauliflower stems. If you don't already eat them. Potato skins, yam skins, The onion skins are really great. They actually give it a really brown color.
Oh,
that's where
nice.
that deep brown comes from, which is kind of reminiscent of like beef stock. So it gives you a nice color if you're into that. And then sometimes optional, you can add ginger and garlic if you wanted to sort of go more into like an Asian flavored broth.
I've put red cabbage in it before, and it does have a very distinct flavor and smell, which I like. But if you're already a little bit on the side of not liking cabbage, then don't put that in your stock.
Or tomatoes too, I find alter the flavor a little bit, but I like tomatoes in soup. It's like minestrone, so I'm okay with that.
And you had mentioned last video, our first video, no eggplant. That's something you
that was something I saw on the Joy of Cooking. So no eggplant.
Don't know why, maybe too bitter, we're not sure.
Joy of Cooking, you have any insights, please let us know. I think it might be just about bitterness.
Okay.
So.
Gotcha. Yeah, so basically you, as you're prepping your meals and you're chopping off these ends and skins and everything, you start putting it into a bag and just put it in your freezer. And then when you have a nice big amount, usually for me, it's when I have one Ziploc bag full.
That's like one pot,
Yeah, exactly. Then really you just take it out of the freezer. What I do, and you can tell me if you do it differently, but what I do is I just put the big frozen bag, just dump it into a pot, cover that with water. And then bring it to a boil. And then simmer it for, depending on how much time I have, anywhere between 15 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on how
rich
flavorful
you want it.
Yeah, is that what you do?
That's exactly what you want to do. The first step you want to do is bring it to a boil immediately. That's just sort of standard for cooking. So it's good to get all the, it's when you're fresh food, it's for bacteria too, to kill it all. And then you just let it simmer there. I usually leave it on for about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours on low. And after the boiling point is a good time to add in any extra seasoning, like bay leaves or peppercorns, things like that. It's just usually you should add that later so that you're not boiling them to death. It's like you want to preserve those flavors, so you just add them after you bring it back to a simmer.
And I guess that would be the same for any dried herbs, like if you're adding basil or oregano or whatever you'd like.
If you're seasoning it after like if you have them in your stock frozen, you don't need to separate them.
True,
obviously that's fine, they can go in like that. But if you are adding seasoning and salt, and that all happens after the initial boil.
Awesome. And then once you've simmered it and you've gotten it to the flavor and the richness that you like, you basically strain out all of the veggie bits and peppercorns and spices, and then you're left with this beautiful stock.
And then you have this, the scraps from that then are to be going back into the compost. And they're all condensed. It's like less. In a way. Right?
You've already started the composting process.
Already,
And then from there, use it immediately, or you can then put it into portioned sizes in the freezer. You can put them in the ice cube trays for little amounts of stock. Do you know how long, if you're going to use it within a few days, like how long you should keep it in the fridge before you start freezing? Do you know?
I don't know. I would say standard is about 3 to 4 days.
That's what I was thinking too.
So it's good to portion it out. Unless you're going to make yourself a big pot of soup that night, go for it. But I like the ice cube trays, and I crack them into like a container, so they're loose and still airtight. So the initial freeze is in an open tray, and then it's airtight. And that'll last months. As long as it's airtight, it won't get like freezer burn or freezer taste or anything like that.
Exactly. So that's really it. It's super simple, but it's one of those things that I had never thought about. You had never thought about. Your mom
had never thought about it.
And it was all because of this Facebook video that you saw and shared, and then everyone went nuts for.
And it's cropping up more. Like I've seen a few there's definitely a lot of people on Instagram that are doing this and showing this process as well. But it's seriously, it's so easy. And it saves you money, and it saves the environment. And it saves room in your compost container. Like I am taking my compost out so much less now because most of my compost is in the freezer waiting to be made into stock. It's true. And some people really love that, like my husband.
Yeah. Less work for him.
Yeah. So it's great. Yeah, it's a great thing to do.
I agree. So one thing we should mention is kind of ugly produce. Yeah. And not stay away from that.
Absolutely. When you're shopping for your vegetables and things are a little bit misshapen or have a little soft spot, don't sweat it. It's totally edible. It's totally usable. And if you don't buy that produce, it's getting tossed. I mean, there are food rescue organizations in Vancouver that do a lot to collect unwanted foods like that are close to going past their prime. Yeah. And then they redistribute it to places that look for it. So I will mention the Food Stash Foundation. Oh. Yeah, that's a really great one.
Is that what they do?
Yeah. Basically, he goes around to, there's like culinary institutes and cafes and certain grocery stores and markets, and they just donate it to him, and he redistributes it to, I think, something like over 30 charities.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. And I have to say, I am a victim. That's not the right word, but I am
guilty.
I am guilty of doing that and wanting to go for the most beautiful produce and wanting, putting that one back because it might have a little scratch or something. But it's like, the taste is still there. You just cut that off, use it for your compost stock, and you're saving that vegetable from going straight to the garbage.
I'm guilty of it too, and grocery stores thrive on aesthetics of their produce. Yes. They make everything look beautiful, and they have it all on display. But when you know that for every one perfect, beautiful orange, there's probably like 15 or 16 ugly ones that didn't make the cut. Yeah. It's a bit disheartening. So especially supporting like farmers markets. Yes. When you go there, nothing is perfect and beautiful, but it's all real and it's way better for you. Yeah. It tastes better. It's grown locally.
And you usually don't get the stickers that come with
Absolutely
it, or
not.
the twist ties, or any of those things that you have to peel off and put into the garbage.
And you don't have to pick up something and go, why am I buying a pepper from Spain? That's ridiculous. Put that back. So
and we're in a province that is just abundant with farmers markets, and it's so easy to go around the corner and to get fresh local produce. So why not?
And every week, and then that way you're only getting what you need. Like it's like a Saturday morning, you go get your produce for the week, use it all up within the week. That way you're not wasting anything, and then if things start to turn, just pop it in your stock.
Exactly. Or cook with it, or exactly. One thing I started doing last year is I started going to berry picking farms.
Exactly.
So you go to these farms and it takes time, but it's fun, and you pick all of these fresh berries, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, whatever you like, and it's cheap. I was so surprised how cheap it was, and then I just filled my freezer full of blueberries and all of this beautiful, super fresh, organic produce. It was awesome.
I'm sad because that has been, especially over winter now, it's the hardest thing to get package free, and I'm like, I wish I had a frozen supply of berries, just because for smoothies or baking, every once in a while you want that, and I see all those pretty plastic clamshells filled with berries and I'm like, I want that. But it's not plastic. So.
The Soap Dispensary I know they have frozen rhubarb. And I believe they have berries as well. So there is that option for getting some sort of package free frozen. But for fresh, when it's available, I would definitely recommend going berry picking.
Oh, awesome. Well, that sounds great. I'm going to do that.
We're going to go together.
Let's go make pie.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Well, Ellie, always a pleasure having you.
Thank you. It was fun.
Thank you again for watching another episode with me, Living Free Ashley, and
me, Ellie, from T-Cycle Depot.
And cheers to living
waste free.